This is Don Gibb, Ogre, Dr. Death, Jackson, and you're listening to Nerd Radio.
It's Nerd Radio, wherever you get your podcast, as part of the B-Pod Studios Network. James Albeck and Chuck Bean here for another week of telling you everything going on in the world of nerds. Before we get into some of our video game news, I'm sure, James, you've heard about the Twitch streamer PogChamp having his emote taken down.
Yeah, shame on you, PogChamp.
Over the weekend. But Twitch really turning it into kind of a really cool thing because they say they're going to have a different Poggers emote.
Yeah, every 24 hours. Even Al Beck could be a Poggers.
Right.
On Twitch, if he had emotes and he interacted on Twitch.
I barely even understood my name in that sentence, and everything else was complete gibberish to me.
Well, Al, so you know how on Twitch people can interact with us on chat?
Yeah.
Much like they can when we record these episodes on Wednesdays at the twitch.tv/checkpointxp.
Nice plug.
Thank you. And within that chat, you can drop different emotes like you have on your phone, but there's an emote for a guy who's like looks like really impressed, like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. I think people, you can have custom emotes, right? Like someone just shared one of yours.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Well, so this emote, it's like a legendary emote. Everybody on Twitch knows it. People even say Poggers, as to...
It became part of the lexicon for the young kids if something was crazy.
Oh, Poggers! Oh, my God, Al Beck! Yeah, that was Poggers what you just did!
Yeah,
right.
I do love, by the way, that all of our Twitch viewers know that I'm an old man and I need visual aids, and they're sending emotes right now in the Twitch chat, like giving me examples.
I don't know where that Grogu emote came from, but
that's actually
awesome,
Choda. That's Choda.
Oh, okay.
That's Chuck the Freak as Yoda.
Oh, nice.
That's Baby Yoda.
I dig it.
Nice. But not
so
to
anyways,
interrupt you. Yeah.
So one of those emotes, they pulled it down. He tweeted out some stuff about encouraging more violence and stuff at the Capitol.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And things like that. So Twitch decided to kind of part ways with him, take him off, but now every 24 hours, a new face will become that emote. So I don't know if... Do you have any information on how they actually go through the process of picking that?
I don't think so. They posted here
I feel like I'm
on
never
Twitter, in the spirit of figuring out 2021 together, let's just roll with it for now. Get ready for a new PogChamp every 24 hours starting today. So I don't know if there's some place where you can submit your emote or they're just picking emotes at random to put in there. But man, how psyched would you be,
dude?
Wake up tomorrow morning and your Poggers for 24 hours. How
Millions
cool.
of people on Twitch are going to see your face. Millions of people on Twitch are going to possibly use your face as an emote. I guess if you use your face as emotes, not everybody goes that route. But
that's true. Yeah,
you can have fun on Twitch. Make your face an emote.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have any emotes, and it would be your luck that mine gets put up there, and then it gets stuck.
It's just
for like 4 weeks.
It's just a gray square.
And you, who would love to have it, will never ever get it. Yeah,
everybody's talking about the Al Beck Poggers.
To me, Poggers is somebody that plays the game Pogs.
Yeah. Right.
Really, what I was thought you were talking about. Got a slam over here.
It took me. I had my old man moment because the first couple times I saw people on Twitter using Poggers as a thing, I'm like, what is this?
Oh, dude, I thought somebody was insulting me because they tweeted something about the Renegades esports team a couple years ago because we were doing some work with them, and somebody responded with Poggers, and I was like, oh God, I think I've upset somebody. They're calling me a Pogger.
Yeah,
and I don't know what that is, but it doesn't sound good.
It doesn't sound good.
It's the new slang for a baby boomer.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I was just gonna say, like, they be calling boomers, but like we're in a different generation.
Yeah.
So when you're doing
like, great, I'm a Pogger. I don't even know what that is. I know
what
that means, and I Google it. And I'm like, I don't think this is all bad. This might be good, but I'm not sure if Urban Dictionary.
Get with the times, you Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
That's what we will call ours.
Yeah.
The Outback want to be called the Tamagotchi.
Yeah. Stupid gotchi.
Stupid James, we had a story on WRIF.com.
Someone just said Al's old ass. Not wrong.
I actually tagged you on Twitter last Friday about this. Did you get your hands on these new Teenage Mutant Ninja
I did not. They're
shirts?
sweet though. The metalhead shirt I think is awesome.
Yeah.
It's $30.
Yeah.
And I'm a maximum capacity in terms of t-shirts. I have a bit of a t-shirt problem, I believe.
Okay.
So why draw the line with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, though?
I'm drawing the line at $30.
Oh, gotcha.
I was gonna say for $100 you get the 4 and the socks, so you're getting them for like 20, maybe.
Oh, I didn't realize you could buy like a package deal like that. But no, I think those are incredibly cool looking shirts, and I think it's from like Loot Crate.
Yeah.
Are they the guys behind it? Like, I've subscribed to Loot Crate for a few months. They have pretty good stuff, and I've actually given away some of those shirts from Loot Crate on my Twitch streams as prizes because it's like
because they just give you a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, well, I don't need this.
Yeah, so it's nerdums that I'm not into. I'm like, I don't know what this even is. I'd wear it, and somebody would try to talk to me about it. I'm like, oh, you're a Supernatural fan. See, I don't know anything about that.
Right, but I've got this, so here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing.
But yeah, Creed shirts though.
I was fascinated because there's 4 shirts, and each of them are supposed to be kind of an homage to heavy metal.
Yep.
Some sort. Like the most obvious one is the Shredhead shirt. Is the what is it? The Judas Priest album?
Is that the one with like a hawk or something like flying in? Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Bebop and Rocksteady one looks like kind of the Motorhead logo, but the other two, Metalhead.
I like that.
Yeah, Metalhead and Shellshock. I have no idea what those are homages to, and I was wondering because
I'm not sure either, but Metalhead to me looks like a death metal.
It does.
Band piece of merchandise.
Yeah.
But it's a Technodrome. It's also Metalhead, and it's Krang.
Krang is in there.
I think you might even see part of Shredder, but very well done. Like whatever artists they use to render those shirts.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
fun.
Are great, very talented artists, and they look great. I didn't want to spring the $30.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was frugal. I was being too frugal.
So when we shut the mics off last week, James, you were like, "Oh man, I forgot to talk about such and such," which is something that happens regularly on the show. But I wanted to bring it back up because I thought it was fascinating what you were telling me about.
Dude, I fell into a game on my Switch. It's on the NES app. It's an old-ass NES game that I never actually got to play. But I know Chuck's talked about it on the show. I didn't realize what it was, but this is the game Nightshade. And you play like a wannabe vigilante who's trying to stop this like pharaoh-looking bad guy from destroying the city. And it's just unique because I've never seen a game like this on the NES.
Right.
And I just started playing it, and I didn't really know what it was, but seeing the picture on the NES app on the Switch, I was like, oh, this is that game from the backs of all the video game magazines.
Right.
This is that game from the back of those video game instruction booklets that I was always like, this looks like an interesting game. I want to play it, but I didn't know anything about it.
You get the Game Pro magazine or something, you'd see the big ad for it. You'd be like, the art for that looks really cool.
Yeah,
what is
Nightshade,
that?
That's awesome looking game. And I've been obsessed with it. I'm watching playthrough videos.
Really?
I'm going through them. I'm playing, like, I've never had more fun playing this game because it's almost like point and click type stuff.
I was going to say it is a point and click adventure. So like Maniac Mansion was one of those types of games.
Yes.
And it's I fired it up after you told me about it last week because I don't think I ever played Nightshade.
No, it's fun. It's so unique.
I remember seeing it in Game Pro or Nintendo Power and being like, well, that looks interesting, and then never getting around to it or never seeing it, even getting emulators, never actually playing it. But it doesn't explain itself real well. It drops you right in the middle of, like, right when the game starts, your character is tied to a chair and there's a bomb behind him, and you can wiggle him around in the chair, but that's it. And you have to wiggle him around a wall so that when the bomb explodes, it's like the wall protects you.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a candle next to the bomb that you have to wiggle back over to burn the ropes on, but it doesn't tell you any of these things.
Yeah,
you
there's
just
no
have
instructions.
you just have to figure out what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
I ran into that problem with the NES Star Trek game. Like, you beam down to the surface and you have no freaking idea what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I would just beam up and down between the Enterprise and the planet, and then shut it off and say I played Star Trek today.
To do here.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, back in the days when they wouldn't explain these games to you. But
that was most games. I can remember a lot of the games on the NES that I was playing back in the day were like that. Like Narc didn't give you any instruction.
Yeah,
Total Recall didn't give you any instruction.
Total Recall was really bad for that. At least with Narc, you knew that you were supposed to walk from left to right and fire your gun.
Yeah.
Well, I think video games at the time was all about the arcade, and the mindset was make it unbeatable.
Yeah.
And eat quarter. Yeah. So, like,
it took them a year or two to finally figure out that we have to make games differently for the home system than we do for the arcades.
But yeah, Nightshade's a lot of fun. I highly recommend looking into it. Just some of the things you do in the game is I've never seen in an NES game before.
Yeah.
So, like, as you play as Nightshade and you escape from, the first scenario that you're in, you're walking amongst the city, but it's like each screen is different parts of a city, or there's different buildings, but sometimes you can walk onto the screen and then walk up, and then you're on a different screen. Like, it's a weird like grid, the way you can go into different scenes and different portions of the city as you walk. I've never seen that before, where I could walk right in the middle of the screen. Here's a building with a bouncer outside, and he's like, you can't come in, you're not part of the club. But you can walk to the side of where he is and walk backwards, and now you're behind the building, which is not stuff that I've ever seen on an NES game like that before.
Interesting.
The different puzzles and things, like you're hitting a button to, like, examine something, and then you have to hit another button to use an item, and then you hit another button to use another item.
That was where I got stuck at 5 minutes in, is that I'd found a key and I'd found some place that could use a key, and I couldn't figure out how to use the key.
It took me a while too, but whatever the select button, I believe, is what will work for that. The one thing I think that sets it apart from a lot of games is those death traps at the end. So if you die, the fighting mechanics in the game are horrible.
Oh, they're terrible.
Like, if I could get better at fighting.
I was going to ask you about the dude that throws his bowler hat, because he's right in
he kicks my ass every time. Have you fought those little like cardboard robot things? Nope. Okay. They kick my ass every time. I get my ass kicked by a female ninja. Anything that I have to fight kicks my ass.
Nightshade is not a fighter.
Yeah.
He's more of a detective.
Exactly.
But it sounds like my real life. Anytime I got to get into a fight, I get my ass kicked.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone out to my car and saw Al sitting out, and it's like, what happened? He's like, female ninja.
Yeah, female ninja. The guy in the bowler cap again. He came and just keep hitting me with his hat. And
she was 10 and she whooped my ass.
I can't. This place is around where they put this building is lousy with female ninja.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
Well, these female ninjas, I think, are armed with, or they're fueled by meth. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in this neighborhood, I think anything would kick my ass. I think a squirrel in this neighborhood.
Oh, the squirrels in this neighborhood are rough. But anyways, they have these death traps. So once you die, because the fighting's so bad, every death trap has a way to escape.
Yep.
And so there's like one, you're on this platform and you're about to get smashed. But if you hit the button to do something, you can hit a lever with your foot, and then you're freed.
Okay.
And then you get back into the game. So I thought that was unique. It's like your down but not out chance to win. But every time you die, you go back into one of these death traps. Then you have to find a way to escape. It's almost like the old
Batman TV show where when they get you, they just put you in a death trap instead of killing you.
Yeah, exactly. And then you escape. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. It's fun for me to go back and play that game that I've fantasized about.
Yeah, I believe I remember seeing.
Yeah, I had like a book that was like 100, the strategy to beat 100 different video games or whatever. And I remember reading a Nightshade, and some of these things that I remember reading about, I'm now doing in the game. And I was like, why could I not find this game back as a child?
Yeah.
Because I would have loved it. But so I fell into a little bit of an NES hole.
That's cool.
So to speak.
Absolutely. Well, over the holidays, I played my Switch a little bit too. Speaking of retro games, I bought one of those cartridges that has a whole bunch of old games on it. Like I've got the Sega Genesis one, which I need to go back to because there's a bunch of games in there that I want to play. But I got one called the SNK Collection.
Okay.
And SNK was the company that essentially would grow to make the King of Fighters and Fatal Fury fighting games, and be the only other company in the 90s that would basically go up against Capcom's Street Fighter as far as fighting games go, until, of course, Mortal Kombat and all the other games.
Was Fatal Fury where the animals fought?
No, that was...
Because Primal Rage was like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But I thought there was like a Fatal Fury.
There was like a PlayStation 1 game where there was...
I'm thinking Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Where you were like different cat, like a cat.
Well, there was a Ninja Turtles fighting game. There was Tournament Fighters. That was really awesome.
I don't remember that.
It was on the Super NES, it was on the Genesis, and it was on the Nintendo, and every version of it had different characters. Like you got the 4 turtles, and they all fought differently, but then there were different mutants, and Casey Jones was only in one, but he wasn't in the other 2.
That would have got me into fighting games, I think.
It was pretty great.
But anyways, your SNK collection.
Yeah, the SNK collection has games like the Ikari Warriors series on there. It had Iron Tank, Alpha Mission, a couple of games that were big on the Nintendo. I think it was Crystallis, which was kind of like a Legend of Zelda type of game. Which
that game's on there. Yeah,
it's on the NES
tried playing
app.
That too.
Yeah, but I've discovered as I've played all these games, the reason SNK wasn't a big deal back in the 80s when they were making games is because they made some of the most unfair arcade games.
Really?
Like if I couldn't just put quarters in by hitting the start button, I would have blown $20 to try and beat one of these stupid games because you would come in and die immediately.
I'll be honest. All those games that you listed off, none of them sound fun.
Yeah.
None of them sound fun. None of them would even got my quarter.
I have fond memories of the Ikari Warriors series. Like on the NES, they had the first, there were 3 of them, and they were on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I remember playing them there, but I never remember seeing them in the arcade. And it's cool because it'll have the arcade version and the home version.
Oh, okay. So you can play both ways.
Well, speaking of games that do sound fun, maybe this was the animal game you're talking about. Brutale was animals, according to someone in the...
Oh, let me see.
Instead of Brutale.
Well, Ikari Warriors looks pretty cool though.
Ikari Warriors. It was kind of just you go from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen. You're just a dude walking with a machine gun. You look like Rambo. You're throwing grenades and shooting down dudes.
That would be a fun game. Yeah.
It was all right.
Let's see, Brutale, huh?
There was also a game on the Switch that I knew I wanted to tell you about, James, because I picked it up on sale over the holidays. It's called Donut County.
Donut County, huh?
And it's the art style looks a lot like Untitled Goose Game. And the concept of the game is you play a raccoon that runs a donut shop in Donut County.
Okay.
And when people order a donut, what happens is you will go to the level and you will start with this little tiny hole in the ground that you can move around.
Mm-hmm.
And when you move it under stuff goes in the hole. And the more stuff that goes in the hole, the bigger the hole becomes.
Okay.
So you start by putting like rocks and grass and bricks and stuff in the hole. And then the hole eventually goes big enough to get picnic tables and the people who ordered the donut and their house and a mountain.
Oh, wow.
It's if you played the game Katamari Damacy where you roll up all the stuff in the ball.
Okay.
It's like that, but with a hole.
It sounds like a sinkhole simulator.
A little bit, yeah. It's more puzzle game than anything else because you can't really fail any of the missions. It's kind of relaxing.
Really?
To just like suck stuff down the hole.
Just suck stuff down the hole.
Too easy.
I think I enjoy it when people do that too.
There you go. And speaking of old games, before we move on, I wanted to tell you guys about a website I found that is the answer to my retro gaming prayers.
Uh-oh.
It is called RetroGamesCC.
Okay.
And it is a website that has almost every old game you can think of, from like the Atari 7800 up to the Nintendo 64.
Wow.
And you can play it in your browser on this website.
Really?
I found it because I was looking for a Sega CD game. I was just going to try and get an emulator and this game to try it out after hearing about it and remembering it and being like, oh, I never got to play this game because I didn't have a Sega CD. And I found this website and it had the game on. I'm like, okay. I clicked on it and it said play now. And I'm like, okay. And I click on it. It says it's loading up the thing. And then you click through a Google ad and bam, you're playing it right in your browser with your keyboard. You can set up a controller on your computer if you want to play it through that. You can save state and it'll save it locally to your hard drive, and then you can load it to the game.
That's cool because I've seen some of those games on browsers before.
Yeah,
and there's no saving.
Right.
So like you'd have a little bit of go down memory lane there and some nostalgia of playing Paperboy.
Yep.
But then it's like, all right, well, cool. I had my 10 minutes and I guess I'm out.
Yeah. No, you can save state. It's all the functionality of an emulator, was minus the rewind button, which is the only way I've gotten through some of those SNK games on that cartridge, by the way.
Oh, I bet.
It's just hammering that rewind button on the left trigger.
I always forget they have that ability. I'm always like, oh,
I know.
Wait, I can go back and make it not happen.
I watched Amy on her stream a couple of weeks ago playing Donkey Kong Country, and I kept like in all caps in the chat being like, rewind. Don't just start over. You can rewind. You don't have to lose a life.
She's like, I want to play. I'm going to play for real.
Yeah.
You goddamn cheetah, Chuck.
Yeah.
You're a cheetah.
But yeah, I highly recommend all of you guys to check out this website, RetroGames.cc.
Guess what they got to play?
What's that?
Maximum Carnage.
Oh, yeah?
Spider-Man and Venom, Maximum Carnage. I got it named weird because I just knew it as Maximum Carnage.
Yep.
But you can play it.
Yep, it's right there.
Browser. Goodbye, free time.
What was the browser again?
RetroGames.cc.
Okay.
Is the name of the website. Go and check it out. I had played they had the Spider-Man game on the Sega Genesis, and then they made it for the Sega CD and improved it.
Oh, really?
And put like there's a Sammy Hagar song in the background while that game is going on. It's crazy. So absolutely check that guys out. All right, there's some wrestling news we're going to get into. We're going to take a short break and wrap up this week's Nerd Radio. Bailey using the power of the internet, the wrestler Bailey, using the power of the internet for good, and we'll remember Mr. John Huber, who's known as Luke Harper in the WWE, passed away just a couple of weeks ago.